Hey, good morning and welcome to Breakthrough Walls. I'm Ken Walls and I'm your host. And today I have an amazing young lady I met through my buddy Glenn Morshower. And her name is Alex Bowling. And Alex is an actress. She's a producer. She's a director. She's multifaceted and talented as hell. So if you would do me a favor and stop everything you're doing and share this out, I have the one, the only Alex Bowling on bowling, like the game. Wait till you hear about that. So just share this out, stay with us, and we will be right back. And we are back. Let me bring Alex on right now. Alex, where are you? Oh God. Hold on a minute. She'll be on. Hang on. We gotta get Alex on here. I forgot one step. There she is. Oh my gosh. Woo!
Drum roll.
Sorry, I'm a professional.
Okay.
Oh my goodness. How are you, Alex?
I am fabulous this morning. How are you?
Good. I'm good. I'm good. It's good to have you on here. We just met, I guess, a week ago ish, with Glenn, and I happened to pop on his acting class, and you did well, it's not called a solo,
A monologue.
monologue. That.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm digging into my incredible acting knowledge. But so you did a monologue, and I was like, whoa. And Glenn and I talked right after the class, and I said, dude, she was freaking awesome. You got to get her on the show. He goes, well, let me get her on the phone. And here we are. So, Alex, you're incredibly talented. I was blown away, and so I want to hear about. I started this show, I guess, over 6 years ago now, and it was really to help people kind of have a breakthrough in life, right? So I think that a lot of people get stuck; they don't know what to do, and I love interviewing people who are doing really cool things and have made it, and in some big ways. And you've made it in some big ways. I've seen a lot of your work, and it's really impressive. So tell everybody a little bit about where you were born and raised. That's a fun story.
Yes. Oh my gosh. So as you know, I am from Ohio originally,
Yep.
and very, very rural Ohio, the Corn Belt. That's about all there is there. Um,
Yeah.
so
I've been there.
yes, but it is very pretty, and it is definitely something to experience if you haven't. But I have always been a busybody, involved in everything. I get bored easy. I've always been a storyteller and a creative. My parents always are joking that I've been telling people what to do since I could wave a finger. And so now I don't know. I'm like, ooh, how can I make a living doing that?
Right. So you and we don't want to dox you, so we won't mention the town that you're from. Um but it's listen, I've been to this town, and when I told her that, she's like, "No, you haven't." I'm like, I have, because I stopped at the only gas station in this town, and I don't even remember why. I think I was looking for something, and it was before, you had Google Maps and all of that, and I mispronounced the name, and the guy was very quick to correct me. And I'm like, what? No, that's not how it's pronounced. And I argued with him, but
Yeah.
apparently that's how it's pronounced. But so like she literally, I'm telling you, she grew up in the sticks. Like if you go to any place like you would consider the sticks, go a little bit further, and that's kind of where she grew up. Right? Am I wrong?
That's pretty close.
It's pretty far out there.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. But so and it's a lovely little town. But so you talk about like what it was like for you growing up in farm country and all of the things that you experienced as a kid that maybe drove you into this creative space that you now reside in.
Yeah. So, you know, there, you only know what you know. And so when you're raised in that environment, I don't think you are, at least for me, I wasn't like thinking that this was horrible or that I needed to get out. It was just that this is the environment that I live in. And there were a lot of great things to it. But I quickly realized that I had a passion for learning. I had a passion for storytelling and creating. From a young age, I was creating little stories myself. I'm also involved in music. So whether it was songwriting or doing like little bits of musical theater at a local like small church or at our elementary school. So it was like I just loved these stories. And the other fabulous thing that I will say about being raised in farm country is that the work ethic that you develop is insane. So I am forever grateful to the environment that I grew up in because it taught me how to work hard. So I am no stranger to that, and I carry it with me nowadays.
Yeah. I mean, I was raised in small farm town Ohio as well, and it definitely teaches you that. I didn't grow up on a farm, but all of my friends had farms, and
Mhm.
so if I was going to go hang out with anybody, it was like, oh, we got to go bale some hay first, which sucked.
Yes.
It
Yes,
really
and
did.
I can stack a half-ton truck at least with 40 bales. I can even still like it visualize how they go on there. That was my job.
I'll tell you, I when I was, I don't know, 20 21, I was working for a farmer. It was not on his farm. It was an electronics company that he had at the farm.
Mhm.
And it was an office that he built on this barn. I mean, on the other side of the wall, there were sheep, like, and oh my God. Anyway, so one day he comes running in. He's like, I need your help. And I'm like, with what? And he goes, it's getting ready to rain. And I got to get this hay up off the field. And I'm like, what? And he's
Mhm.
like, come on. And I'm like, okay, come on. And I go, I didn't remember any of this from my childhood. I didn't realize you couldn't get hay wet. And
Mhm.
so we go out, and I was getting ready to leave to go to the city to my apartment and go to the pool. And I'm wearing swim trunks, like
Oh.
thin swim trunks and a tank top. And he gave me a pair of gloves. He goes, you really need to be wearing jeans. And I'm like, I'll be all right. Let's go. OMG. I
Mhm.
had hay stuck in places in my body that I don't want to talk about. But I'm
Yeah.
going to tell you, it lasted too. It didn't go away for a long time.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, dear God, have mercy. So don't bale hay in shorts is the I had up and down your. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah. But
Mhm.
that is I I've said this forever. I think every kid coming out of high school, before they decide what they're going to do with their lives, should go spend a couple of years working on a farm and then a couple of years going door to door, maybe even selling Jesus or something. Like I mean, like, go out and learn what real life's about, then decide what you're going to do with your life, right?
Yeah. Hmm.
because so many people are like, well, my daughter, she's like, I want to be a lawyer. And I'm like, but do you? you know?
I know.
So,
And I did have kind of a little bit of that farm upbringing, but I still felt like I didn't really know what I wanted to do.
yeah.
And so that was interesting for me because I knew that, I was good at school and I really enjoyed learning. And so I think I had always wanted to do something creative. I was always involved in music and I loved acting, but where I'm from, of course, it's not really something that you're supposed to do. And so
Right.
I was trying to think of so many different things that I could potentially do that would be fulfilling. So for a while, I thought, well, maybe I'll be a lawyer or a politician or a doctor or whatever. And even when I got into college, I tried all of these different things, but it was never like that soul fulfilling like passion. And yeah.
Look at
Oh my
that.
gosh, the FFA. Yes.
Yeah, she grew up in Van Wert. That's where I have aunts and uncles in Van Wert, Ohio.
Mhm. I did FFA. So, fun fact, and this actually feeds into my film story. Is I was always a public presence, I guess. I had some sort of a presence when I spoke. And so I joined FFA when I was in high school. And FFA has public speaking contests and like parliamentary procedure where you do like, you run a meeting, an official meeting. And so I did these contests. And so my freshman year of high school, they put me in the FFA and I did the FFA Creed was the public speaking contest that I did. And you say it's this creed about the future farmers of America, and I believe in the future of agriculture or whatever. I know that's how it starts. And I actually placed in the top 16 in the nation at 15 years old doing that.
God,
And
what?
yeah, and I went to Indianapolis and I got to perform at the national convention. And I think that was like a part of the start of people being like, oh, hey, she's got like some kind of presence or public speaking going on. So I continued to do it like all through high school.
Wow. Look who's watching.
I know, Glenn. Mwah. Thank
I talked to him late last night. Love that dude. Love you, Glenn. Thank you for introducing us, by the way. Um, so 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 that's a really kind of cool way to get kind of thwarted into the public eye, I
you. Yes.
guess, right?
Yes.
That's pretty cool. So what oh, look what Nicole just said about you. You have a
Aw,
beautiful light about you.
thank you.
It's true. It helps that the sun is shining through the window next to her, but
Yes. It
you said yes.
follows me everywhere.
I love that. So okay, so you get through high school, you graduate. There's like
Mhm.
600 kids in your graduating class.
65. Yes.
I can't believe that that's actually smaller than the school I went to.
Mhm.
It's crazy. So then you went where? Did you go to college? Did
I did.
you
I
okay.
did. So I went to Otterbein University in Westerville
Okay.
and thought I did like the lawyer politician track. I thought that's what I was going to do for a while because obviously I had been doing kind of speeches and understood a little bit about procedure. Um, Turns out it was not really my passion. I also love psychology and I love the brain. And so I thought maybe for a while I was going to be like a neurosurgeon or neuroscientist. So I studied abroad in the Netherlands at Maastricht University because it was one of the only places that an undergraduate could work in an fMRI brain scan lab. So I studied abroad there for about 4 months and worked in a brain lab for working memory. Uh, Came back, still thought I was going to be on the science and research track, and even went through my master's in psychology, mostly focusing on research in, cognition and working memory. I I love the brain. I still love the brain, and I love understanding people. But there is, I'd always been told, especially by my family, do what you love, and you'll never work a day in your life. And I was just like, I took the MCAT and was doing all these things. I was like, this feels like work.
Right? Yeah.
I thought I liked this, but this feels hard.
Yeah.
So all the while, I had this kind of burning itch to do something creative, and I had still been involved in music and songwriting and thinking about acting, but still in the back of my head was like, no, no, that's not something you're supposed to do. Go do something else. And I just kept putting it off for the longest time. But when I did eventually step into that world, that that quote became real for me, and it was like, oh, I understand what it means to be working so hard, but it doesn't feel like work.
Yeah, that's right. I need to introduce you to this guy right here. He's been on the show. He's a country music rock star. Like
Ooh,
he's amazing. Dylan, I don't think Dylan, I think he's in Dylan, where are you? In Arkansas, or did you make it? Did you get to Nashville? I don't know, but he's got a couple of albums out. He's a freaking awesome dude. Good
yeah.
friend of mine. I need
Let
to
me know if you're
introduce.
in Nashville.
I'm sure he is at least every now and then because he does a lot of performing, or at least he was. I haven't talked to him in a minute, but yeah, he's a good dude. I need to introduce y'all. But so you got he's in Arkansas.
Arkansas.
Okay, yeah, he's in Arkansas. So you started getting into the creative stuff, and this is in Westerville that you were having these happenings.
Yeah, so I've kind of dabbled in it all of my life. I grew up in actually a creative family that just never pursued it as a career. My
Okay.
my grandfather was a performing musician, especially on steel guitar, and then a lot of my family
Wow.
all are musicians, and they would harmonize together and sing together, and it was
Wow.
so fabulous growing up. But none of them ever really pursued that on a larger scale. And so I'd always been involved in music, and even in school, it was like any opportunity I could turn something into a creative project I did. There were a couple projects I did in high school where we were supposed to do projects on like presidents of the United States or something, and I made a video. I like had me and a few friends. I like directed a video, and we were playing
Wow.
characters, and it was so great. So I got to do that. And then our high school didn't have drama, but I wanted to do a play so bad that my senior year I convinced my piano teacher to direct a musical so that we could have a musical my senior year. And
Wow.
it was just the best experience. I got to play Jessica James, and way out west in a dress, and it was so great, and I loved every second of it. So when I went to Otterbein College, that college actually has a theater department, and I remember going and watching like the opera or the theater productions, and I was like, I should change my major. I should. And then it became like, oh, my family will kill me.
Oh,
So maybe not.
isn't that interesting though that we really do we have a tendency, especially at that age, but we have a tendency to allow what we think our family or what our family will actually say or do to
Yes.
control what we do. That's insane to
Mhm.
me. I've never understood that. In fact, I always did the opposite of what they wanted me to do. I was that kid. So they're
Oh
like,
my goodness.
yeah,
I
yeah,
I still struggle with the people pleasing, but we're,
yeah, I get
we're
it.
working on it. But yeah, I used to at Otterbein. I would sneak into the arts building, and they had all the practice rooms. And because I've played piano since I was about 8, I would sneak into the practice rooms and I would play the piano and just shut the door and play the piano. And
Oh my
obviously,
God.
no one would knew that I didn't belong there. Um, but
Wow.
it was so crazy because it was, I think that desire and that spark was there the entire time, and I just was so in denial of it. But everything in good time, because my master's that I got in psychology helps me so much in storytelling,
Yeah.
immeasurably. So I
Wow.
am very grateful for those very diverse experiences.
But you're not a practicing psychologist,
No, no.
right? And by the way, everybody, please share this out. If you have not shared this out, don't be a communist and share this out. I'm kidding. You can share it out and be a communist, I guess. But um, so
Uh,
please share this out. Let's get a bunch of people on here. But so Alex, you you just so people are clear, you got your undergrad at Otterbein in Westerville, which is Columbus, Ohio.
yes. Mhm.
Um, and and then you ended up getting your master's at UD at the
Yes.
University of Dayton, which is about an hour and a half from Columbus,
Mhm.
maybe an hour and 15 if I'm driving. But so what did you when you graduated from Otterbein and you had a degree in what? What was the degree your undergrad?
So my undergrad was in psychology, but I
Okay.
didn't know if I was going to go to med school yet. So I actually had a double minor in biology and chemistry.
Ugh, chemistry. Um,
Yeah,
oh my God.
yeah. I've lived a
That
lot of lives.
oh my God, I hated chemistry. I loved physics, but I hated chemistry.
Mm.
So so um so you went and decided after that, did you immediately go, okay, I'm going to get my master's now?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Wow.
So I took the MCAT. I thought I might go to med school. It didn't feel right, and it felt like such a long commitment for something that I wasn't really sure about. So
Yeah.
I thought, okay, well, let me just get my master's. And I actually was such a giant nerd that I graduated with honors, summa cum laude, and I actually got my master's degree paid for because I did a work study program. So I taught statistics at UD, and I worked in different
Jeez.
labs there.
Wow.
Yeah.
Statistics.
Yes.
Oh dear
So
Lord.
so that seemed like the next step. So I went ahead and got that. But all the while I was there, I still had this burning itch of creativity, and I actually started taking some piano lessons at a local college as well outside of UD, and that was at Wright State University near Wright Pat Air Force Base.
Wow.
So I was going and I was doing my master's at UD in psychology, and then I was taking physics and piano at Wright State.
Good grief. Has anybody ever said you might be an education junkie? I'm just
Yes,
kidding.
usually the term is overachiever. But I like
You're
the
like,
way that
come
Glenn
on, give me another class. Give me another class.
I like the way that Glenn says it though, because he says not overachiever. He just says achiever. And I'm like,
Oh,
yes, that
there
is
you go.
that is my
That's right.
mhm.
However, and what I would say to Glenn is, Glenn, I get what he's saying, but most people don't do that. So in
Yes.
comparison, look, my wife is on here, and her brother, God rest his soul, got one of his master's degrees at Wright State. I think he got one didn't he get one at UD as well, Jill? I thought he did. Maybe it was Wright State and the other was Ohio State. I don't know. She'll answer though. So okay, you got your master's degree in
Yes.
psychology,
Yes.
and you get through that. You get your piece of paper, and it says you now have a master's degree in psychology. And right, Glenn, that's because
Yeah.
of where she grew up, dude. I'm
Yes.
telling you, like slinging bales of hay is not a
Mhm.
joke.
Mhm.
But so what'd you do then? You're like, okay, let's
Mhm.
go be a psychologist. Let's fix people.
So I had really been focusing on research at that point. I still had kind of this feeling that I just wasn't doing what I was meant to be doing, and there was something off. And because I had done music still and been continuing to do it, the next step seemed Music City, Nashville. And so I thought, okay, well maybe I can use my degree and find a job in Nashville. So that's actually what I did. And I got a job in research at the Sarah Cannon Research Institute in Nashville. And so I moved to Nashville and I started doing some research there. And I got involved in the creative community here, first with music. And then I had kind of this lingering thought of like, I wonder if they have like community theater or something that I could get involved in that again. And I found an acting class, actually. It's the Nashville Acting Studio, which was a game changer for me because I started taking classes there about 6 months after I'd moved to Nashville, and I loved it right away. I was like, oh my gosh, I have to do this forever. But at that point, I wasn't thinking of it like a career. I was just like, oh, this is fulfilling me. And little did I know that it was actually a working actor class, that so many of these actors had experience in the industry, they had agents. And so, about 3 months into the class, the instructor was like, hey, you should consider getting an agent. And I was like, what are you talking about? Me? No.
Wow.
Yeah. And so that kind of like started the bug for me. And I was like, I don't know what this is, but I have to do it.
Oh my God. Wow. So, and you were doing what? Like psychology research?
So it was more. I used my background in research and statistics for the job. So I was
Uh,
actually doing orthopedic research,
okay.
um, and I continued. I still have a job where I do kind of research or stats based as a separate full time job from my film and acting career. But
Yes, I read somewhere, maybe on TMZ, I don't know, that you are the queen of spreadsheets.
I don't know about the queen, but I will take that title.
Oh my God. Like,
Yes.
just kill me now if you want me to. Ugh, God. There's spreadsheets are not in my purview at all.
No.
So, okay. So you, this is so interesting because I see this unfolding,
Mhm.
and I'm seeing that, one of the things that I already love about you. There's the amazing Cynthia Mannion. Hey,
Mm,
Cynthia, I know you were on her show too. That's so
yeah,
awesome.
she just had a birthday. Happy birthday.
Oh, happy birthday, Cynthia. Did I miss it? Oh my God, I must have missed it. So I don't remember. Maybe I did. I don't. So you go into this acting class. That's
Mhm.
hardly theater, or
Correct.
is
No, it was not.
no? I
No,
guess it's
it
not.
was, yeah, it was acting based. It was scene study,
Okay.
very like emotional based. And
Okay.
this is where things start to get fun because not only did I love it and I found my passion, but speaking of breaking through walls, I felt like the discovery of acting and learning to understand emotions, because you have to understand emotions in order to act them, experience
Yeah.
them, I in some ways healed myself because I learned how to have emotions that I maybe never allowed myself to have.
Mm.
And so it was just and I'm forever grateful because getting now to do my passion of storytelling, acting, filmmaking, etc., not only fills me with so much joy, but it has made me a better person. It has made me a better human. Like it changed me so much and I love it.
Wow, that's so incredible. So talk about the I mean, well, did you listen to your instructor and get an agent?
I did. I did.
Okay. Okay.
But I did not right away. I, as you have figured out, am quite analytical. So for me, it became
No.
it became okay. There's a step by step process that we have to go through before we can get an agent. So I actually decided that I was gonna work and train and get more experience for about a year before I applied to agents. So at that point, I had the bug and I had to be involved in everything film related. So I was auditioning for local student films and doing them. I was working as a production assistant on set.
Right.
I was doing props on set, like anything that I could to get more experience because I was like, while I appreciate these instructors saying that I should get an agent, I wanted to come in and feel like I had done the work to be ready to have that agent, not just because someone said that I was ready. And maybe, maybe it was insecurity. Maybe I just needed to feel better in myself about it. But yeah, so after about a year of doing some training and getting experience, I did get an agent, the Avenue Agency, and I have been with them now for almost 8 years.
Oh my goodness.
Mhm.
Wow. Okay, so when you what's the very first professional thing that you did with an agent?
Um,
You don't remember your
I
first
don't
time.
remember.
Wow.
Hmm. I
I
don't
mean, do you do
remember.
commercials and things of
I
that?
I do. I
Okay.
do. I remember my very first short film ever, and that was a student film, though. It wasn't through my agent. Um, One of the first things I did with my agent was probably either a music video or a commercial, but I don't remember it. And isn't that funny though? The things that we choose to remember or that we don't. I don't know. That's interesting to me now that I because I'm a crazy spreadsheet person, I could probably find it. I have like a
Oh my
list
god.
of like all of my auditions from the last like 10 years or something like that. Be like, which one was it? Oh,
Do
yes.
you have a color-coded rating system on how you think you did and all of that, I'm sure,
Don't get
but
me started on that.
yeah, you're like, "That's a great idea. I'm gonna have to add that to my spreadsheets."
No, this is how horrible I am. I'll say this quick side note. Because I'm a stats person and you would take that Excel spreadsheet and you would put it into a stats program, no colors. I'm always like, no,
Oh.
no colors. It means nothing to me. I want to
Oh.
filter by like numbers or like zeros and ones and all like write all kinds of logic and stupid formula. Anyway,
Oh.
nothing against
No.
people who like colors in their Excel spreadsheet, but my Excel spreadsheet of auditions looks disgusting.
I can't
Probably to anyone.
oh my gosh, but you read them and you're like, "This is beautiful."
Yeah, because I can make like pivot tables out of it so that I can see like year over year how I do, or
Wow.
the casting directors that are asking to see me, the genres that I'm going out for the most, the months that I'm the most productive. But
Wow.
it's again this kind of weird diverse background that I had. It made me look at acting very different because I was like, well, this is a business and I'm a product. So if I want to perform well, I have to know how my product is being marketed or what it's doing well in.
You know, what I find really interesting is, because I've studied a lot of psychology as well, I spent many years trying to fix myself by studying psychology on my own.
Mhm.
And then eventually, said, "Oh, okay, fine, I'll go to AA."
Mhm.
But I I think it's interesting how, because most people, and I hate to categorize most people, but most people are either very heavy on the left side of their brain, or they're very heavy on the right side of their brain, and they don't tend to mix. I'm a musician as well. I play
Mhm.
guitar, sing, and play drums. But and when you're playing drums, like you gotta your both sides of your brain have to work like
Mhm.
in perfect harmony. With you, you're so intense on both sides of your brain. The
Yeah.
statistician status, that word, and then the creative over here. I'm gonna put you on the spot, and I don't
Okay.
know that you'll do it, but I'm gonna ask you to perform that, not solo. What's it called?
The monologue?
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
But
All
you
right.
don't have to if you can remember it. If not, that's all right. But
Okay.
I think you're so it's incredible. It's very rare to see both sides
Mhm.
work so strongly and well together. And I'm talking of the brain. So, um, talk a little bit about some of the short films. And I don't have any queued up. I should have. Dang it. I tried downloading some of the stuff you sent me, and it wouldn't download. And I'm like, all right, it's just being a pain in the butt. But I'm looking over here to see if I have any. But talk about some of the stuff that you've done. Is there any place that people can see it? Glenn made a
Mhm.
comment here. Hold on. The fact that you look for patterns in your life, yes, is really, really, it
Thank you.
really is really smart. So talk about some of the stuff that you've done. If there's a place that people can go
Mhm.
find it and watch any of it.
Yes. So it's very exciting because today is actually the official launch day of my website. I planned it perfectly for your podcast. So my website is live now for my production company. And my production company is called Like the Game Pictures because my name is, and yes, so it is www.likethegamepictures.com. So all of my films that I have made with my production company that I own the rights to are there for people to stream. I think there's like 7 films, so you can check them out. They're all short films. There's some incredible talent. I'm so blessed to work with just so many wonderful, talented people. I For years I've just been like pinching myself, getting like, I can't believe that these people would come and want to work with me. And so the stories we've been able to tell are really incredible, and I'm excited for everyone to see them. And I'm so excited for what's next for Like the Game Pictures. Um, but yes, my production company is Like the Game Pictures because my name is Alex Bowling. Bowling spelled like the game.
Is that right? I have it scrolling across the bottom, like
Yes,
thegamepictures.com.
yes,
Okay.
likethegamepictures.com. Mm-hmm.
So what are some of the um no, my wife Jill, you put the wrong address. She put likethegame.com. It's likethegamepictures.com. So what are some of the challenges that you've faced? I mean, you get out of um you finish school with your master's degree,
Mm-hmm.
and you decide to go to Nashville.
Yes.
And has it all just been like easy peasy? Like just every door has opened, never had to really work hard at it?
Chance. Not a chance. I mean, it has been a scratch and claw the whole way.
Yeah.
And I still am working at it. But when you're able to look at it from 30,000 feet, there's this beautiful thing that happens where I feel like I have been given the privilege to really be in an incubator that allows me to understand what I really want and learn so many things that are important for growth as a human and in really pursuing my dreams. So it was really hard for me when I first decided that, this is really what I want to do with my life is be a storyteller, actor, and filmmaker. Um, there was so much guilt and shame that I was letting people down because I was supposed to be this doctor or lawyer or something else. And so not only did I struggle with all of that guilt and shame, but I had buried so many emotions inside for so long. Like I wouldn't even allow myself to cry. So it was so hard for me as an actor to be like, how do I cry when I could maybe count on one hand the number of times that I had cried in my life. So it became like, not only am I going to go after something that seems so foreign, I have to be okay with it as a person, and I have to be, okay with all of me and who I am. So it's been a very difficult journey. And if I'm being just completely transparent about the difficulties of it, I think a lot of that shame and guilt and the burdens of carrying, perfectionism and being an overachiever and not wanting to let anyone down, kind of resulted in, by the time that I was deep into pursuing both acting and filmmaking and my career, because I've always been doing both, I was so burnout that I was reaching a point of my body and nervous system were starting to be like, you are not in balance with who you're meant to be. And I was having horrible panic attacks. I developed
Wow.
like health anxiety. I don't know if anyone is familiar with it, but it's basically like an extreme form of hypochondria where you just
Wow.
constantly think that there's something wrong with you.
Wow.
And the brain is so powerful. And from
Yep.
my experiences in psychology, yes, that it can make you believe things that are not necessarily true. So if you are looking for things that are wrong in your body, you're going to find something because it's going to make something up. So I was having these horrible symptoms of just being dizzy, or I'd have body pains and body aches that I thought there's something wrong with me for sure, but there never was anything physically wrong. It was just that I was always living in not in balance with
Yeah.
who I was meant to be or who I was happy being. So I have had to do, so much work in that. Just not so much like work, not just in chasing the dream, if you will. Um, or pursue. Well, I don't like Glenn says pursuit. Yeah, I don't like pursuit the way he says it.
Glenn says not to pursue,
Right. He
but
says
to
you don't
have.
need to have. Yes. So
Yeah.
in having this career, I had not only the difficulties in facing that rejection, the difficulties of feeling like I was letting everyone down for having it, and then not being true to myself. So it was a crazy, hectic anxiety triangle that in complete transparency, I still deal with from time to time in those relapses. But I just want everyone to be fully aware that just when you discover your passion and you start doing it, even though it fulfills you and it makes you so incredibly grateful and alive, there's always the good and the bad. There's
Yeah.
always going to be the side that's difficult to travel through.
Wow. So, question, and you don't have to go too deep on this, but was this all, um, the anxiety about letting people down? I'm assuming mom and dad or parent, whoever.
Mhm.
Was that because they had high expectations that you were going to do other things, or you thought they had high expectations that you were going to do other things?
I think a little bit of both.
Okay.
But it wasn't just them, because I was so much of a, education junkie, as you said. Like, I think everyone was like, oh, learning is really easy for you. So somebody like you, and especially where I'm from, you people don't really venture outside of the mold too much. So when I came along and everybody was like, oh, you're definitely outside of the mold, um,
Right.
they were like, oh, so you should probably just be like a doctor or a lawyer or something. So I think I always had in my head that, oh, if you're good at school, then that's probably what you should do. But it's like I tried it, and while I could do it, it was not
Right.
very fulfilling.
Right. Right. This is an incredible story, and I thank you for your transparency too,
Of
because
course.
I think that so many people are, and I talk about this all the time. So does Glenn, but we're walking around telling ourselves these. Dr. Joe Dispenza talks about it.
Mm-hmm.
That we're constantly telling ourselves these stories. The 50, 60,000 thoughts a day that we're having are, you
Yes.
know, primarily the same thoughts we had the day before, and half of them are a lie, and all these things. And it's like, you know, so we're all walking around a little bit neurotic, I guess, in a sense.
Mm-hmm.
But I love the fact that you are, because I feel like most people just bury those. They stuff them down inside.
Well, I tried
They
that. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and well,
It's the panic attacks.
that's so funny. Are you drinking Diet Coke? What is that?
No, it's cold brew. I'm being classic cliche here in Nashville with my hat cold brew.
Oh my dear Lord. So what are some of the fun projects that you've done, whether it was writing or producing, or what are some of the things that you've done that really kind of lit that fire inside of you, that when people go to likethegamepictures.com,
Mm-hmm.
and they look at your material, what are some of the projects that you're most proud of that brought you the most joy?
I love that. So actually, every one of my projects does bring me joy in different ways. I, as you have figured out by now, love to challenge myself. So every project that I do, I use as something to grow and learn something new. And it was pointed out to me about 6 or 7 years ago, when I had been doing acting for a little while, that I look at scripts kind of like a director. And I was like, okay, so I guess maybe I'll try that. So the first film that I did with my production company that you can find on the website is called La Schema. And that was really the film that started it all. I have always kind of looked up to Barbara Streisand, actually, because she wears, speaking of hats, a lot of hats in the industry: director, writer, producer, actor, songwriter, singer, you name it. She does what she wants. Similar to Dolly Parton. And so when I did La Schema, it was a black and white silent film noir. And so I was the first time I had really worn multiple hats in that way. I produced it, I wrote it, I directed it, I acted in it. And it was the most incredible experience. And the film turned out amazing. It was so well received. And I think after doing that, I was like, okay, I can do this. All right, let's go. What are we going to do now? So I kind of used that to launch into trying different short films. So one of the next ones I wanted to do was kind of a launch piece of my production company, and that is tugging at the harp strings. And so my friend who had done La Schema with me, we were both just going through a hard time. I think COVID had happened, and she was like, you know what? I don't want to do anything but like act and play my harp. And I was like, what a weird thing to say. And I was like, oh, okay, I think I can make that a movie. So it's a kind of a romantic dramedy about a woman who is playing the harp at her younger sister's wedding and having to kind of look at all of the different areas of her life, especially love and different emotions. And that film was fun to do because I got to wear all of those hats again, directed, wrote, produced, acted in it, but I also ended up writing a song for it that
Right.
got to be in it. So then I got to add that one in.
Wow.
So those were kind of the first building blocks of the production company. And then once I had my feet under me, then I was like, okay, now let's really get down to business. And I've been so blessed to meet just such incredible talent that have really elevated my game. I met an incredible friend and a co-writer of mine, Priscilla Wise, a few years ago. And she's actually the one who really introduced me to Glenn, because I met Glenn in Nashville Acting Studio like 7 years ago, but had not really followed up. And then Priscilla was in Glenn's class, and she's like, I think you should come check it out. I think you'll like it. And I did. And of course, I fell in love, and
Yeah.
the rest is history. But so I started writing films with Priscilla, and at this point, we have written 4 together. So you'll see some of those on the site, and that is The Hollywood Sunset, Revolutions, Spirals, and our newest one, which is not out yet, but you'll see it in the coming soon section, is Headed for Home. And it is a sci-fi about women in space. But
Wow.
I love writing and I love storytelling because I get to take all of these conflicting thoughts that I had of growing up, of either feeling out of place or like I didn't belong, or all this guilt, or I'm not doing what I need to be doing, and how can I be strong, but I need to cry, and doesn't that make me weak? And so I had all of these conflicting things that I get to take and put into an incredibly layered character, and it is the most beautiful thing to see it come to life. So
Wow.
Spirals is really my love story to my journey with that anxiety and discovery of it. It is one of the films on the website, and it's really about a woman who
I
has
watched I watched the entire thing, by the way.
yeah.
Yes, that's
Thank
so
you.
great. It's the
Um,
woman that starts looking in the mirror, right?
yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah,
So
it's so good.
she's a former professional dancer.
Yeah.
And so she has left dance and has a lot of trauma and triggers around it, but now is forced to go back into a dance studio after years of being away to bring her daughter to her first dance lesson. And what she encounters when she reaches the dance studio are a whole lot more than memories. And she starts her own spirals, because you can physically spiral to dance, you can mentally spiral in an anxiety spiral. But you also, there's some theories that time is cyclical and spirals. So if you were looking at time horizontally and you had past, present, future, there's 3 different points. But if you were looking at it from a different perspective, those points could coincide and intersect. So you could actually have different points of past, present, and future coexisting. So we get to play with those in this film. It's incredible. Catherine James is my leading actress. She's a dear friend of mine. She's in so many of the films that you'll see on the website. She's phenomenal. I expect so many great things from her. And I just hope that
That's
everyone
awesome.
is able to connect to the layers of the story, and that the beautiful thing about it is like we get to be multidimensional. We get to be vulnerable and strong. Showing emotion doesn't make you weak. It means you have a big heart. You have the capacity for so much more. And I love that. And now our newest film, Headed for Home, which I'm super excited about because I got to work with the incredible Kara Rayner, who
She's
of course
amazing.
is
Love Kara.
in Glenn's class and
Yeah.
has been on your show.
She
Uh,
has.
Talk
Yeah.
about an inspirational woman. My goodness.
She's
Um,
amazing. Yeah.
I can't wait for everyone to see this film, and I'm hopeful that we will be able to get the funding to make it a full feature, because
Oh, wow.
she is the kind of character that, you really just dream about working with, because not only is she portraying such a layered, complex character, she is equally that way in real life. She has the
Yeah.
capacity to be caring, to be inspiring, to be strong in ways that you never knew existed. And I always say this about her, but like, there are certain actors that you feel like when you watch them, especially in a close up, that they can save the world in a glance. And I
Yep.
feel like she is one of those people. So I'm super
Yeah.
excited for the stories that we still get to tell and the many incredible people that I still have yet to work with. It's like, oh, I think I heard that quote the other day. It's like, you don't know who yet you are still going to meet in your life or who you're going to work with. And I am introverted, believe it or not, but I do.
I, I think most actors, most creatives are,
Yes,
quite honestly.
but I do enjoy meeting people and hearing their stories
Yeah.
and really getting to champion them and inspire them to really, follow their passion and do what they love.
So if you had to pick one thing, only one thing, like, and I'm talking about this, the statistics job is on the table, writing, acting, producing, directing. You had to pick one thing that you had to do for the rest of your life, and you can't do anything else. What would it be?
I only get to pick one.
Yep. It has to be a monogamous relationship with that one thing.
Well, it's a tough one. It is a tough one to say, but if I only get to pick one, it has to be acting.
Wow.
Hmm.
Okay.
Directing is a
That's
very, very close second.
God,
It's
I thought
very,
you were
very
going to say writing.
mm, nope.
Wow. Okay. That's interesting.
Hmm.
So, if you had I have a magic wand. Oh, it's at my home office. I actually have one.
My fairy godfather.
Yes, I somebody sent it to me and I don't have it with me. I wish I did. But pretend like this little knife is a magic wand. Um, and I could wave this over you right now and make all of your dreams come true
Okay.
instantly.
Hmm.
What would that look like for you?
See, this is the fun part
That is the fun part.
because that's already happened.
Wow.
um, yeah, there's really only one thing that I would prefer to have happen, and that's, I would say, my day job, if you will, of stats. I'd love to convert that into more of doing statistics for my own production company and
Yeah,
still being able to afford to live.
right.
Um,
Yeah,
but
eating's a
otherwise,
good thing.
yes. But otherwise, I'm getting to do what I love.
I love it.
I'm making films. I have a website. I'm telling stories. I'm working with people that I never dream about working with. I'm getting to learn from Glenn Morshower. I'm bringing stories to life of people that I watched as a child, and I studied them on TV, and I was like, I have to see everything that they've ever done. And I look at it now, and I didn't have words for it then, but I mean, talk about, like, this is why I'm so grateful when people say the light from earlier, but it's like, it's, you just wake up with a smile on your face. I'm already doing it.
I love that. Absolutely love your answer. Wow. So, hey, are you up for doing a monologue? That monologue I watched you do, or
I'll do it
can you do it?
for you. Yeah.
I love this. I'm going to give you full screen
Okay.
and I want you guys to see what blew me away, literally blew me away when I first saw you do this in Glenn's class. And you didn't know I was going to ask you to do this
I did
either.
not know. It's part of the
But
fun,
let's
right?
do this. Let's do this. I'm going to leave your website scrolling so everybody can see it. But here we go. The one and only Alex Bowling.
Am I allowed to curse on this show? Okay. I was like, there's a curse on this monologue, so just trigger warning or whatever, people. All right. Hey, Dad. You son of a bitch. I never made one of these when you were responding because I was so mad at you for leaving. And then when you went quiet, it seemed like I should just live with my decision, and I have. But today is my birthday. And it's a special one because you once told me that when you came back, we might be the same age. And today I'm the age you were when you left. So it'd be a real good time for you to come back. And tell Dr. Brand I'm sorry that her father passed away today. He had no pain and was at peace. Did she know? Did she know that her father's thing was a sham? That you all left us here to suffocate, to starve? You're never coming back. Did you know, Dad? Dad?
Oh, wow, 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 wow. Holy crap. I can't, I can't. I like, wow. The intensity. Oh my God. Wow. You are
Thank you.
so talented.
Thank
So
you.
talented. Wow. I hope somebody like Spielberg or somebody huge is watching right now and got to witness that.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I didn't know I was going to do that today.
That was unbelievable. Like I'm serious, and you don't even have onions nearby, and you had tears, and it's amazing to me. Oh my gosh. Wow. So well done. It was beautiful.
Thank you.
Alex, you are incredible. And I don't hope for, I know that all of your dreams are going to come true. And I'm gonna be able to say, I knew her back in the day. She was on my show before she became a humongous freaking A-lister. You're you're look.
Oh, man.
Amazing. Amazing. Wow. Well, if you haven't fallen in love with Alex by now, then you're a communist. And oh no, you're amazing. Thank you so much for being on today and sharing your heart, your look.
Oh,
Oh my my God, that's so funny. Glenn, that's not Glenn's my agent. Like Glenn, he's I'll tell you offline, but he's so funny. Last night I said, dude, you have full authority to negotiate that contract for me in this movie. He goes, oh, okay. But anyway, so Alex, thank you from the bottom of my heart. And if there one last thing,
Mhm.
you have the stage for 2 more minutes,
Okay.
and there's all 8 billion people on planet Earth are listening right now,
Mhm.
watching you. Um, what are you going to say to all 8 billion people at once to impact every one of their lives in a positive way and make this a better world?
Ooh, you know, it's such a good question. And it's something that I wish that I had heard maybe at a young age. But it's that um, direction doesn't have to be large. Energy can be small. Things that guide you, that fill you, that tell you the ways that you're supposed to move or your passions and where you're supposed to go, or even just how you connect with someone. It doesn't have to be a lightning bolt or some grand gesture. Sometimes it's something so small that you're like, that made me smile and that made me feel right. Just watch for those small things, the energies, because you recognize them in other people. And there's a quote that I've been saying a lot lately that I feel like really, really fits it. And it's you don't meet the people you love, you recognize them. And I was like, if
Mm,
you can recognize that energy in other people, you can also learn to recognize that same loving energy in yourself. Love all the parts of yourself, observe them, follow the energy, and it doesn't have to be something big.
that's beautiful. So beautiful. Thank you so much. You're amazing. Stay
Mhm.
with me. I'm going to end the live stream. I'm going to wrap it up. It's going to feel like I'm not coming back, but I promise I'm coming back. Don't leave me.
Okay.
So I want to say thank you to everyone who's watched, everyone that's watching the replay or listening to it on the podcast networks globally. Go to likethegamepictures.com, www.likethegamepictures.com. Check out everything Alex is doing. If you're a big director, and I'm going to claim something huge for you in your life right now. Somebody big needs to call her, email her, and invite her to come and be in a big movie because she deserves it. So, Alex, thank you. You're amazing. Everything, even my wife is on here saying, great interview. So, thank you so much. I
Thank you.
appreciate you. You're amazing. Everybody, share this out. If you did not share it out, you can still redeem yourself, and go ahead and share this. We appreciate you. Love you all. Have an amazing day, and we will see you all later. Thank you, Alex.
Thank you.
Bye bye.